Every square meter of the Panama Canal belongs to Panama and will continue belonging to Panama.
And its corporations doing business within our country, exorbitant prices and rates of passage, which they do. They charge us like it's a disgrace. We will demand that the Panama Canal be returned to the United States of America.
Gotta follow the terms.
Quickly and without question.
It's our canal, he says. You're not going to have it. We're taking over the Panama Canal. Trump is responding to the president. Of course, Trump's been talking about this for some time, and the president has responded saying, oh, you think you're coming over to take our canal? He said every square meter, this is the president of Panama, every square meter of the Panama Canal belongs to Panama and will continue belonging to Panama. Trump responded, he says, we'll see about that, buddy boy. And we've got a ton here because Trump was AmFest speaking about this, and he posted a full explanation of what he intends to do here and why. And here's what he said in a two-parter. The president wrote, all right, listen, the Panama Canal is considered a vital national asset for the United States. This is due to its critical role in America's economy and national security. A secure Panama Canal is crucial for U.S. commerce and rapid development and deployment of the Navy from the Atlantic to the Pacific, and drastically cut shipping times to U.S. ports. The United States is the #1 user of the canal, with over 70% of all transits heading to or from U.S. ports. Considered one of the wonders of the modern world, the Panama Canal opened for business 110 years ago and was built at huge cost to the United States in lives and treasure. 38,000 American men died from infected mosquitoes in the jungles during construction. Teddy Roosevelt, shout out, was president of the United States at the time of its building and understood the strength of naval power and trade. When President Jimmy Carter foolishly gave it away for $1 during his term in office, it was solely for Panama to manage, not China or anyone else. It was likewise not given for Panama to charge the United States, its Navy, and corporations doing business within our country exorbitant prices and rates of passage. Our Navy and commerce have been treated in a very unfair and injudicious way. The fees being charged by Panama are ridiculous, especially knowing the extraordinary generosity that has been bestowed to Panama by the U.S. This complete ripoff of our country will immediately stop. The United States has a vested interest in the secure, efficient, and reliable operation of the Panama Canal, and that was always understood. We would and will never let it fall into the wrong hands. It was not given for the benefit of others, but merely as a token of cooperation with us and Panama. If the principles, both moral and legal, of this magnanimous gesture of giving are not followed, then we will demand that the Panama Canal be returned to us in full and without question. To the officials of Panama, please be guided accordingly. Now, the Panama officials have responded, and here's what they say. And Trump was talking about this at AmFest. That clip is coming up. But here is what they said in response. Now, moments after President-elect Donald Trump, must hurt them to really have to write that, moments after he doubled down on his plans to take back the Panama Canal, Panama's president on Sunday said, wrong. The canal will remain under our country's control. He posted a video on social media. I have it here. We'll play a short bit of it so you can see what he looks and sounds like. But he was explaining, and his name is Jose Raul Molino. He was elected earlier this year. And when he got elected, he had a pledge to bring the country closer to the United States. But not anymore. He rejected Trump's claims that the United States could retake this strategically important waterway. He also disputed Trump's complaints that U.S. vessels were being charged unfairly. This is what he said. As president, I want to clearly state that every square meter of the Panama Canal and its adjoining zone in Panama's is Panama's and will remain so. The sovereignty and independence of our country is non-negotiable. Molino went on to say the canal is an integral part of his country's history and that every Panamanian carries it in their heart. Now, Trump reiterated his demands. He said, look, We're being ripped off at the Panama Canal like we're being ripped off everywhere else. And we are tired of it. Molino's government, as he just got elected, is pledged to deepen ties with the United States, and China has not announced anything else happening anytime soon. We'll see. Now, they've got a huge Belt and Road Initiative. They're trying to totally dominate their sphere of influence and then, of course, take over ours. The U.S. helped Panama gain independence from Colombia at the turn of the 20th century so that they could build this. And for decades, the U.S. administered this until they gave it away like morons. Trump described how the U.S. built this, says our Navy needs this resource. And Trump was talking a bunch about this when he was over at AmFest. Here is what the president sounded like here in Arizona.
As another example of the things we're doing and looking at, it's such a terrible thing is happening. The Panama Canal is considered a vital national asset for the United States of America due to its critical role, American economy, the whole world economy, and also national security. The Panama Canal. Has anyone ever heard of the Panama Canal?
Yes, Mr. President, we have.
Because we're being ripped off at the Panama Canal like we're being ripped off everywhere else. A secure, he just said take it back. That's a good idea. Where do you come from, sir? He doesn't come from Panama. Oh, yeah, good. A secure Panama Canal is crucial for U.S. commerce and rapid deployment of the Navy from the Atlantic all the way to the Pacific. It's an incredible thing and drastically cut shipping times down to U.S. ports by days and even weeks. The United States is the #1 user of the Panama Canal with over 72% of all transits heading to or from U.S. ports. Think of that. So we built it. We're the ones that use it. They gave it away.
Like everything.
Considered one of the great wonders of the world. The Panama Canal opened for business 110 years ago and was built at huge cost to the United States, and it really is big when you consider the lives and the treasure, the equivalent of $1.2 trillion today. You don't hear those numbers.
Wow.
38,000 American men, almost all men, they went there to be construction workers, and they were diggers, and they were brave. 38,000 men died from infected mosquitoes in the jungles
Great
of
sacrifice.
Panama during the construction period. Think of that. We lost 38,000 men. Teddy Roosevelt was president of the United States at the time of its building and understood the strength of naval power and trade. When President Jimmy Carter foolishly gave it away for $1 during his term in office, it was solely for Panama to manage and not for China or any other country to manage. You see what's going on there? China. It was likewise not given for Panama to charge the United States, its Navy, and its corporations doing business within our country exorbitant prices and rates of passage, which they do. They charge us like it's a disgrace. Our Navy and commerce have been treated in a very unfair and injudicious way. The fees being charged by Panama are ridiculous, highly unfair, especially knowing the extraordinary generosity that has been bestowed to Panama, I say very foolishly, by the United States. This complete ripoff of our country will immediately stop. It's going to stop. The United States has a big and vested interest in the secure, efficient, and reliable operation of the Panama Canal. And that was always understood when they gave it to Panama. Can you believe that? We would never have done it if we thought what's happening now can happen, and we would never, and we will never, ever let it fall into the wrong hands. But it's falling into the wrong hands. It was not given for the benefit of others by a token of cooperation, but it was given to Panama and to the people of Panama. But it has provisions. You got to treat us fairly, and they haven't treated us fairly. If the principles, both moral and legal, of this magnanimous gesture of giving are not followed, then we will demand that the Panama Canal be returned to the United States of America.
Gotta follow the terms.
Quickly and without question. I'm not going to stand for it. So to the officials of Panama, please be guided accordingly.
You're on notice. We expect the terms of the deal to be followed. And this president came out from Panama and said, no, we're not going to do that. So we'll see what happens next. But here is his statement.
Compatriotas, como presidente, quiero expresar de manera precisa que cada metro cuadrado del Canal de Panamá y su zona adyacente es de Panamá y lo seguirá siendo. La soberanía.
It's our canal, he says. You're not going to have it. So that's his statement. Now, the president is not just going to stop with Panama, all right? America is going to save the planet. And he has now announced another ambassador to the Kingdom of Denmark. And why is this important? Well, because Greenland. We need Greenland too, in addition to the Panama Canal. And we're here for the Imperial Trump presidency. We're excited for it. If they're going to call us imperial empire conquerors and the whole world is going to lambaste us while they take all of our money, well, we better get something for it. This is what we've been saying for a long time. We would always say, no war for oil, no blood for oil or something like that. And you say, well, wait a minute. If we're going to go over there and liberate you and provide you with this freedom dividend, which is obviously a fake thing that was just made up by our military industrial complex so that we could just spend more money endlessly, well, then shouldn't there be some benefit for that? I mean, don't you just go to war and spend trillions of dollars and thousands of American lives for nothing? Like, what is the national interest in this? We always should be talking about national interest. Why we stopped talking about that as though we're like this global angelic force or something like that is ridiculous, because we know that those people who lie to us about like saving Western democracy are the very people who are trying to destroy it, right? They censor our speech, they open our borders, they initiate new meaningless wars that are created for money, and we're pretty sick of it. So now the president is talking about real American interests, and we're excited about it. So he says, I'm pleased to announce Ken Howery as my choice for the ambassador to Denmark. He's a world-renowned entrepreneur, investor, and public servant who served our nation brilliantly during my first term when he was ambassador to Sweden, where he led efforts to increase defense, security, and economic cooperation between our countries. Now, as a co-founder of PayPal and venture capital fund, Founders Fund, Ken turned American innovation and tech leadership into global success stories, and that experience will be invaluable in representing us abroad. Now, for purposes of national security and freedom throughout the world, the United States of America feels that the ownership and control of Greenland is absolutely a necessity. Ken will do a wonderful job in representing the interest of the United States. Thank you, Ken, and congratulations. So we're also interested in Greenland. Trump is shopping. We need more land and more control of the world. Otherwise, other people are going to get it, and they're going to exploit America more than they already are. We're sick of it.